Cool. Actually, kind of similar to this. Your phrasing for this is pusher. So up top here. So we got pushers, drivers, and barrels. And Elon's a very good example of a pusher, driver, and barrel. So first, why don't you define what a pusher is in your definition? I'm going to define what a barrel and a driver is.
How about you start with the beginning, define the driver, the barrels, and I'll define the pusher.
Okay. So here, let's start with barrels first. So barrels, this comes from 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧, okay? And he talks about in a company, you have a lot of ammunition and you have a lot of barrels, okay? You can have all the ammunition in the world, but if you don't have barrels, like the guns to push them through, the bullets through, you're not going to make things happen. So if you only have 5 barrels in a company, like 5 bullets or 5 cannons, you're only going to be able to do those 5 initiatives at once. And so you need as many as barrels as possible because they just make things happen. They move very quickly.
What's a barrel in a company? Is it human capital?
Human capital. Yeah.
Okay, so you need enough humans to actually go and execute on what you want.
And it's no different. I mean, this is kind of similar to like a driver. A driver will just make sure they respond very quickly. They'll push. Like Elon, for example, he'll message one of his engineers at 2 a.m. saying, hey, I want to build, hey, what's it going to take to build tunnels under the street, right? And then they get on the phone. He's like, okay, I'm gonna message you in 3 hours. Okay, I want to know what the costs are and all this stuff. 3 hours later, he calls them 5 a.m., right? Okay, what are all the costs? $5 million it's going to cost us for these machines. Okay, buy 2 of those machines. I want to talk to you about it on Monday, right? That's an example of a driver, a barrel. These people are just people that make things happen ultimately.
I thought that was a pusher.
They're the same thing. They're all the same thing.
So you're saying a company needs drivers, barrels, pushers. Barrels, I get human capital, but you're saying pushers are very similar to driver, where you're just pushing.
To me, they're all kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because to me, a pusher is someone who's just pushing people. Like I messaged one of our engineers, Saloon, when we were working on a visibility product early on. And I was just like, how much will it cost per prompt? And he's like, I'm at a party. He's in Brazil. So call, I was messaging him like 6, 7 p.m. my time. So call it close to midnight his time, somewhere around there.
10 p.m. 4 hours ahead, no?
Brazil changes depending where you are, I believe,
4 or 5
from
hours.
4 to 6.
Oh, 6. I thought it was always 4 to 5.
No, it depends on the time and the season.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just call it midnight. Let's just use the easy number. And he's like, I'm coming home from a party.
Probably drunk.
No, he wasn't drunk. And he's just like, can I get it to you in an hour? I could have said you can get it for me the next day, but I was like, sounds good. And then he got it to me in an hour, and then we were discussing back and forth on the pricing. And then we were discussing, because that involves cost, right? APIs. And then I was like, okay, what can we give, the maximum that we can give away for free without really breaking the company? And then we figured it out. Almost figured it out that night. I would say a few days later they finalized it, but I had enough where I was comfortable, and then I told the team to go and run.
All right, so I wanted to take a moment to tell you about my podcast co-host Neil's agency called MP Digital, and they work with a whole host of global companies or a global organization. Also, Neil has SEO tools such as Ubersuggest and Answer to Public. All you have to do is go to npdigital.com to learn more, and we'll see you on the other side.
The thing with these drivers, barrels, and pushers, these people are your A players, and they can't stand having to work with B and C players, right? And if they work with a B and C player and they can't get what they want, here's you as an example. If you don't get what you want, guess what? You're moving on to the next person and next person. And guess what? That person's kind of dead to you, whoever you couldn't get it from, right?
It's sad, but they end up eventually being fired.
Yeah. So it's not...
assuming that they really aren't good. If other people find tons of value in them, it's different. But usually if the founder of a company is working with someone and they can't get stuff done, they tend to lay them off.
95+% of the time, that's what happens.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. So my point of saying all this, we're talking about Elon in the very beginning, this whole daddy's home thing. This daddy's home, when daddy's home, daddy is driving things, okay? Daddy is a barrel, right? Daddy's a pusher. Maybe it sounds weird that I'm saying it this way, but it is the reality. So,
dude, and it really is hard to find a balance. I'm not at the level of the Elon Musk or anywhere near there, and I never will be, or even the Peter Thiels or even people below that a level. I'm nowhere near close to any of them. But what I found in my life when it comes to pushing, I used to push really hard, and I still do, but I don't push myself as hard. And a great example of this is I have a speech on the 28th of next month, so October 28th, to a Fortune 10 company. All right. From there, I could fly to Malaysia on the right after my speech, and then speak. And I think I can make it back home on the 30th because of time change. 31st, I'll be there for Halloween. And then the next day I fly out to Milan. From Milan, I go after I'm there for a few days of meetings and speeches. Then from there, I go to Spain for meetings. Then I go to London for more meetings. Then I'm back home for a day. Then I go to Toronto for a day. And then I go to Dallas the next day after. And then I'm back the day after that. So you're talking about like a week and a half to 2 weeks of traveling, right? And I could have done the Malaysia one. And I was debating it with my CEO this morning over text. And I'll read you what I typed to him. I'm like, you think I should go to Malaysia and speak on the 3rd of October, speaking at the 28th, I'm not going to mention the company name. And then my Milan speech is exactly on the 2nd, but I'll leave before then because of meetings. And normally I would just say, yes, APAC wants me, but I know the kids will be bummed for me missing Halloween. I could then fly from Malaysia to Milan. Worst case, I could still make that trip. And he eventually called me and he's just like, dude, we bought a company in Malaysia. There's a ton of people in there. Have someone who doesn't have a kid speak. And for them, they wouldn't miss Halloween because it's in their own city. And I was like, okay, that's a good point. And he's like, it may not be as effective, but it'll be good enough. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay losing some potential revenue by me not being the one speak just to see my kids during Halloween.
And keep in mind, how many Halloweens do you get with your kids? Maybe like 6 or 7?
More, yeah, and then it's over.
Look, but they're not going to start doing you start doing it at age 3 or 4 or whatever. They're not going to do it in their teens, right? Because they're going to start to become too cool for you, right? So
yeah,
you
they
only get
want
so
to hang
many.
out.
Yeah, I would say the Halloween is actually more valuable than the Malaysian one.